You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
Today's article is entitled, "Have the Democrats Introduced an Immigration Overton Window Scenario?" Conservatives constantly complain about a lack of transparency in Washington, and for good reason. Just look at the Mueller investigation, the FBI and FISA. But on at least one issue, things are as transparent as they can be. This issue is immigration, and the transparency is John McCain's white-hot hatred of Donald Trump. McCain will not miss a single opportunity to stick a finger in the eye of Trump, regardless of the damage it does to his party and especially the nation. And so it is yet again as the great Maverick of the Senate, John McCain, joined forces with Democrat Chris Coons to introduce their own bipartisan immigration proposal. A bipartisan is supposed to mean working together and compromising when needed for the good of the whole. Yet we should know by now bipartisan in Washington bears no resemblance to the real world. D.C. bipartisanship means only that the Republicans cave to the immediate demands of the Democrats, trusting the untrustworthy Dems to follow through with whatever vague promise they make of maybe giving the right a little of what they want later. And we also know that later never comes. Quote, Senators John McCain, Republican, Arizona, and Christopher A. Coons, Democrat, Delaware, formally introduced a bill that would grant permanent legal status to undocumented immigrants known as Dreamers and start bolstering security along the U.S.-Mexico border. But the measure would not immediately authorize spending the $25 billion President Trump is seeking to fortify the border with new wall and fence construction, unquote, writes the Washington Post, and I'm sure gleefully so. Now, why would any right-thinking Republican team up with and practically give away the store to work with an ultra-leftist Democrat like Senator Coons? He's a radical. In fact, one would have to search long and hard to find a politician more radically leftist, having a CR Liberty score of F and a number score of 2%. That's 2% out of 100%. And remember, the lower the score, the more leftist one is. In case you still can't wrap your head around just how radically liberal Coons' voting record is, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee has a score of 11%. Maxine Waters at 21% looks positively conservative next to Coons, and Nancy Pelosi is at 10%. How does one even get to be exceedingly more radical than those three? But I guess Coons found a way. The Post continues, quote, the McCain-Coons plan would also grant legal status to Dreamers who have been in the country since 2013, a larger pool of undocumented immigrants than the 1.8 million Trump supporters legalizing, unquote. However, looking at the McCain-Coons plan, with its zero chance of passage, got me to thinking. This may well be a strategic move by the left. It's possible that they are presenting Trump and the Republicans with a classic Overton window scenario, in that the Dems believe that if they present such a radical proposal as McCain-Coons that has no shot of passage, the GOP may opt for the not quite as radical Durbin-Graham bill, which still stinks, just not quite as bad. For those unfamiliar, the Overton window, developed by Joe Overton in the 90s, is thought to be some complicated political construct. It is not. Simply put, one presents two proposals, in this case, one horrible, followed by one which is not quite as bad. Given a choice only between the two, bad and horrible, people opt for the bad choice, seeing it as the lesser of two evils. Either way, the Dems get most of what they want, and the Republicans get little to bupkis. It may just be the Dems' grand strategy. Historically, the Republicans have been dumb and weak enough to fall for it. Why not try it again? And this time they have the venomous McCain as their ally. Thank you for listening.